Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Christal. Today, we are going to be talking about what's on the other side of the ask. But before I jump in and explain to you exactly what I mean by that, I want to invite you to one of my relationship workshops. Every single month, I host a relationship workshop, and this is an opportunity for, most importantly, for you to ask questions, for you to learn what's available to you as life coaching for your relationship. And it's a wonderful way just to come into a very casual, fun, lighthearted, safe environment and learn more about what it is that I do with women who I work with in a one-to-one setting in my private coaching program, but do it in a way to where you just get a comprehensive view of what exactly happens when you're working with a life coach on your relationship, and then get your questions answered. So next month, the time of this recording is July of 2022. So August of 2022, I already have the date scheduled. Go ahead and jump over to my website, which is christalallen.com, and sign up and save your seat for the August 2022 relationship workshop. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and talk briefly about what is available to you on the other side of the ask. And I thought that this would be a really important conversation to have because many times we have conversations in our head. How many of us can relate to that? Where we, especially if we've been in a relationship with our spouse or partner for a while, we think we know them from top to bottom, right? I've definitely been here as well. And however, and I'm sure a lot of that is probably very true, right? Learn their habits, some of their ways, that type of thing. But what I also know to be true is that the people who stood at the altar on the day you got married or on that moment that you decided to be in a relationship, you're not the same person. People evolve. And so because of that, it's always worth it to come from the angle of compassion and curiosity when it comes to asking for what you want in your relationship and giving your partner the benefit of doubt, right? Allowing them to have the opportunity to sometimes surprise you in the best of ways. And this is actually what happened to one of my clients when she was basically having these conversations in her head. She is, a professional woman. She has a business and young kids at home. And she got to a point where she almost felt that she was at her breaking point, right? And her mindset was, I shouldn't have to ask him for support, for help in the areas that I'm looking for. Primarily, it was around the house and with the kids, right? He was definitely an active father. However, there were some things that she just needed a little extra support in. And her mindset was, he should clearly see that I'm struggling or that I am juggling all of these different tasks. And, some of these things are like non-negotiables that we have to do, right? And so we talked about this in our coaching sessions, and we learned a little bit about where this came from, right, for her. And most importantly, what it was stopping her from receiving, right? So it's like, what's on the other side of the ask? And so we actually did a little bit of role play, which can be kind of fun, right? Because it allows you to get out some of the thoughts that are in your head initially. And most importantly, it's a fun way to practice the worst case scenario, right? So the worst case scenario in this example was him like, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. I'm not going to help. Thankfully that wasn't the situation, but let's just go there anyway and ask ourselves, like, what will we think if he said something like that? How would you feel? What will we do? That type of thing. And so the most amazing thing about this client story is that belief that she had that he should know me by now, like he should see that I'm having trouble managing everything, and he should, offer, right, to support. He wasn't offering more support. However, she never requested more support. And so that was the literal obstacle from her having more support, right? Because obviously, it's not a guarantee that your partner is going to respond the way that you want them to. But again, like I said earlier, let's always give them the benefit of doubt. Okay. So, like I said, we did the role play. They actually had this conversation, and it was kind of funny because considering the amount of time that we spent talking about this, and he had a word response that made all of the work a little funny. However, this work is always important because the work you do is for you, because it helps you figure out, why am I, approaching this area in my relationship in this particular way? So his response was, okay, babe. And that was it. She was like, I wanted to strangle him. That it was that easy for him. And so for whatever reason, people we're wired differently. And so someone else may have maybe seen her struggle, right? But because he didn't see it or offer to help, doesn't make him like bad or good, right? It was what it was. And so what we're thankful for is that when she sat down and communicated in a way that wasn't criticizing him or blaming him, right? That's really important too. When you're asking for what you want, and it's important that you start with talking about it from your lens, right? So we never want to blame our partner or criticize our partner in the same sentence where we're also requesting something that we want, because they typically will shut down or they'll get defensive, and then we've lost them. The whole reason why we wanted to have this conversation is pretty much not happening, because they're now thinking about, okay, the ways that you are looking at them sideways. And to be truthful, we are looking at them sideways, but they don't need to know that in that moment. Okay. So be reminded of that. And so, like I said, allow yourself to approach your partner with curiosity and with compassion. Because just think about, if the tables were turned, would you want them to approach you in the same way? And I know the answer is yes. You wouldn't want your partners making assumptions about you and what you will and what you won't do, what you believe and what you don't believe, because we evolve, right? Those things change. And so compassion and curiosity, those are like my mantras when it comes to relationships, in both my own personal relationship as well as with my clients, because it really does serve us well, because it opens us up to have deeper communication and just learn so much more about ourselves, more importantly. And then our partners just get to benefit from that work. All right, everyone. So I want you to think about maybe ways where you're having these conversations in your head. I want you to challenge yourself to go ahead and have that conversation with your spouse. And remember, no criticizing, no blaming, just be open and communicate from your perspective and see what happens, right? Sometimes it's really powerful what's on the other side of that. All right, everyone, that is it for today. Have a wonderful day. Bye.